Welcome back, everybody, to the KeSPA Cup. We are about 2/5 of the way through here. 2 of our 5 sets of the night have gone down. We're about to jump into our winner's match. It's going to be Zest versus Neeb. Our foreign player here doing very, very well so far.
That's right. Neeb, you know, he's lived in Korea for a month or so now, and he's been training with Koreans. Let's be real, he's practicing like a Korean player. He's living in Korea, he's playing on the Korean ladder, he got #1 GM, he's playing customs with Koreans. No, he's not in a Korean team house, but he's in the On Fire house. There's a lot of foreign pros there he can talk to about the game, who can also kind of help coach him through this. I know that one of those guys is here tonight, No Regret, is actually with him to kind of talk him through some of these games as well. So he has that support. I mean, he is playing like a Korean player, and so it's not that crazy to see a foreigner beat a Korean. The foreigners who have done well in Korean Star Leagues and in Korean matches like this have always historically been the players living and training in Korea. Mana, Jinro, Nani, Huck. These people that lived in Korea and trained with Koreans, and Neeb is now one of these people, and it's not out of the question for him to win and what many people consider his best matchup against Zest here in this winner's match and get out of the group in first place.
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, Neeb's PvP is quite fantastic. You saw his win ratio there, 70% Zest. He's had a lot of trouble in PvP in the past, especially against specific players. Like, remember when Creator beat him like 3 times back in the day? He seems to have some trouble at certain different periods of time in the PvP matchup. Neeb is so close to getting out of this group in first place, but Zest, with a regaining of confidence perhaps, coming into KeSPA Cup looking quite good. Guys, we're going to go into game number 1 now for Neeb versus Zest.
세종 과학기지로 떠납니다.
Don't bring forgiveness, and I'm gonna hunt you down.
Welcome to King Sejong Station for game number 1 of our best of 3 PvP. Up in the top left, the Foreign Hope, it's Neeb.
And his opponent to the bottom right in green, the Korean Hope, it is Zest. It's like Neeb just wins the whole tournament, everyone changes their minds, like, oh, foreigners are better than Koreans. So Zest is going to go...
Wouldn't that be a story going into BlizzCon?
I mean, imagine. This is not a Star League, this is a weekend tournament, basically. It's a little bit longer than a weekend tournament, like your DreamHacks, your MLGs, you know, your Red Bull Battlegrounds, your IEMs, but winning this here would not be winning a Star League, but it would be like winning before the Reason Lock a DreamHack as a foreigner, you know, which really never happened past a certain point. I mean, we had like Thorzane beat Polt in a DreamHack a long time ago in 2012. Same year Gun made a round of 4. When you think about it, it's quite impressive how quickly this player has become so good. And half of it was on his own outside of Korea, I'd say. And now that he's here, he's jumped up a whole extra level. And this is a great matchup for him. We've seen him countless times beat players like this on the ladder. You know, Zest, Trap, so they're top Protosses that are on top-tier KeSPA teams. And now he just has to win 1 best of 3 to be really the first foreigner to advance out of a group in a tournament like this in so long. And I'm getting a little bit hyped. At the same time, Zest coming back to full form. The last time we saw him play a Frost was Frosty Counter Rush. It didn't work so well. That was the best.
Thankfully, we're not seeing that here. That's about as meta as it gets, where you think Zest, you know, is the favorite, and he goes for about as aggressive and all-in of a build as you can possibly go against one player in a best of 1. Was definitely designed to catch Trap off guard in that series, but did not work.
Zest does this a lot of the time against players. You know Zest is proxying when he's playing against a player he thinks he's better than. That's what he always does. Ooh, Shade gets by here. Notice as well, Zest is very heavily committing to scouting what Neeb is doing. when we saw Classic play against State, which another Pro versus a foreigner, Classic cheesed State in that Pro League match. Zest is doing the opposite approach. He's very carefully assessing everything that Neeb is doing while also proxy stargating him very aggressively. So not a cheese, but it is a proxy, and it is very aggressive. In fact, Stargate Gateway, so it looks like it's going to be this Oracle Stalker kind of timing attacks we have seen before.
And it's going to be one base as well. I mean, already the Nexus here scouted for Neeb by Zest, but Neeb has not much of an idea of what's going on. He's going to scout once again and see no Nexus. And
Yeah, he saw that. There's no Nexus there. He was able to see that. So that's really important. If he didn't know that, then he might be in some serious trouble. Because he is able to know this, he could just go and check the edges of the map. Looks like instead he wants to go up and defend his natural. Although, as I say that, he goes to check. He's played on the Korean ladder, man. He's #1 GM. I mean, this guy...
Oh, so close. Oh, he sees it.
He sees it.
There you go.
This is what actually playing on the Korean ladder will teach you. You check everywhere. If he doesn't have a base, you will find it. He doesn't want to lose these adepts, though. That will strengthen Zest's push. Probe's coming down here. Pylon's in position.
Zest's not going to commit there, and this is kind of hard because he knows the Oracle is coming. Where do you overcharge? Do you use it for the front, or do you use it for the back? The Oracle actually going to come in the front. He knows the Mothership Core is in the main.
Okay, the Mothership Core is coming down, though, and with that Guardian Shield, you can see just how much value he gets from that +1 armor that the Guardian will give. He's even going to out-micro Zest! Takes out one of his Stalkers, comes back up the ramp.
This is a very crucial moment, though. The Immortal is not out, and a big number of Stalkers here for Zest. Does use one overcharge at the natural. Second one going to come into the bag.
Okay, it's not going to have full coverage, but this Oracle's nearly out of energy. Uses all of his overcharge energy here. That's important, but once the Immortal is out, he can hold this relatively easily. I mean, one Immortal can kill almost 5 Stalkers alone, especially with its barrier ability.
Very true, and he's even got a Sentry here warped in for that Guardian Shield. Let's see how he deals with this.
Starting to poke at these pylons. Nice shade here. Going to use these adepts, but Neeb is prepared in the main base with 2 Stalkers. The pylon doesn't go up. And probes are starting to be killed here. This could start to snowball against Neeb, but he brings the rest of the Stalkers up, just losing a little bit of mining time here. And one adept nearly goes down, but he escapes with it. Remember, this is 2 base versus 1 base. The longer it takes Neeb, or rather, the longer it takes Zest to kill Neeb, he gets another Immortal. His economy is building probes.
Zest needs to kill him right now. I mean, he's going to try to shade into the main once again. Neeb is ready. He's got 4 Stalkers in the main. He's got another Immortal that pops. And now Zest, he makes a probe. You know, he's going back. He's transitioning. He's going to make a Nexus, but he's so far behind from here.
Oh, Neeb needs to react to this, though. This is free damage. 3 probes killed. Very nice for his ass. I mean, he's so far behind right now. He needs any damage he can get. And in fact, he will probably have to leave this location soon. The Shades are going to scout this meager army. I mean, Neeb's army is getting larger now than Zest, so he can move out and punish that soon. Zest trying to scout where the army is, knows there's Stalkers in the main. He can't commit to that. Warps in sentries here. Will he just simply commit to a follow-up attack? It's going to be tough to execute that.
I mean, with the sentries, a lot of the times you see if you're fighting up against Immortals, you can really just zone them out with a couple of very well-placed force fields. And maybe that's what he's going to try to do. I think that he's going for the Nexus, though. Maybe he's just saying, okay, maybe I can delay, keep him in his base for as long as possible. If he tries to engage, I can force field to disengage. And let me just play from behind instead of trying to go for like a follow-up crazy all-in here.
Now he knows the Shades are off cooldown. He's got overcharges in the main. Zest is under attack. He brought sentries in here. They don't do a lot of damage. Nice force fields to zone out the Immortals, though, giving him a decent trade at the beginning of this fight. Once those force fields fade, though, the Immortals are going to join in. Very well-placed force fields, though, by Zest. Stalkers here. Again, he's ready for everything. And Zest is on the retreat. These 2 Immortals, he can't fight against them. He needs to get out of here.
Oh man, the micro sniping another Stalker here, but another warping coming in, and those 2 Immortals begin to lose their support as Stalkers do get sniped, but those 3 Stalkers that were there to defend against the Oracle do join up. He's warping in more because he knows the Oracle is coming back in.
Targeting down these probes now. This unpowers the Stargate, and of course this gateway. Not too significant, but can finally wipe these off the map. And Zest has to kind of walk home with his army with his tail tucked between his legs. However, he has transitioned. He has a Nexus now. You know, he is getting his own Immortals up. But you know, let's see what Neeb does next, because he could just simply take a 3rd base, try to run up his advantage that way, or with this blink he's researching right now, he could go for a follow-up timing attack to try to kill Zest. He's also getting a Prism here. And I think Neeb did scout with Hallucination that Zest has that base. He knows what's going on, I believe. We don't actually have an observing PC for the setup we have at this L-shaped desk today, unfortunately, guys, but I'm pretty sure he does know about this. And he's going to go Prism drop him.
Yeah, he should have a pretty good idea, and I've been very impressed so far with how good his defense has been against that Oracle. He's always got those Stalkers in position, and he knows he does have to have that there because he used a lot of overcharges early. He doesn't have the blink yet with the build he chose. This is very cute. Gonna come in here with these Immortals, use the barriers, even trying to focus down the Stalkers.
He just wants to keep the army supply small. If the army runs away, he kills probes. Very effective. A little bit of harass there. The barrier on a pretty long cooldown, but they can just sit in the prism throughout the duration of that. We are going to see Disruptor play out of both players here. Zest leading that charge with this robotic support bait. Now, if Neeb actually coincidentally scouts this, he can destroy this tech. It looks like he's not going to happen to run by it, but had he done that, the Stalkers of Zest would really struggle to defend that. He'd probably simply lose the bay. Luckily for Zest, that does not happen.
Yeah. Very big differences in Twilight Council tech here. Blink versus Resonating Glaives. We've heard many Korean pros, Protoss, say that Adepts are the way in PvP, but at the same time, the meta in this matchup has been changing so often, so frequently here, especially in Korea. So, maybe Neeb, he's got a different idea with the Stalkers. He wants to play more of that Blink Stalker Disruptor type of style, but he does go for the Resonating Glaives right after it. So maybe he's identified that, okay, this is going to a longer game. Let me get Blink first. It'll make me a bit safer. I can pick off units here and there. Maybe I can snipe his Oracle out of the sky so I don't need to worry about that. And then I'll get my Resonating Glaives, and we'll just go into a longer game.
Now, one of the strengths for Zest in this longer game is that because Neeb decides to just back off and go late game here, it gives Zest an opportunity to catch up. Obviously, with this AoE damage, the unpredictable unit, the Disruptor, anything could happen. With the right Disruptor shots, you can come back from 60 supply deficit. And in this case, he's not that far down, but this is a great position here for Zest. Neeb getting a Forge and Warp Prism speed. I feel like Neeb is the king of Warp Prisms. Never really in Korea do we even see this level of finesse with that unit. And he scouts this push coming. Meanwhile, he's going to see there's no third base, so he knows all he needs to do is commit to the defense. Guardian Shield goes up. He has his Disruptor on the ground.
Even snipes that probe at the third base, so no third base for a long time for Zest. Zest is going to commit here to the attack.
Disruptor's in the Prism. It's all going to be about those Purification Novas. Here comes the first one. Zest will dodge it. Also dropping down the Sentry Ward. Meanwhile, Neeb doing some harass at the natural. Zest going to drop his in right in the middle of the fight. This first shot is going to be amazing. Barrier goes up, though. He kills the first Disruptor. He has the high ground advantage.
The second one, he snipes the Disruptor before it goes off, and he's easily going to win that fight on the top of the ramp, especially with the overcharges.
14 probes killed as well. Neeb's going to win it. GG! Neeb takes game number 1. 1 win away from advancing to the round of 8.
Just like that, he took 1-2-0, and now he's up a game against the Kingslayer, a guy who looked fantastic in his matches against Beyond, but is struggling a bit here against Neeb. And just from the get-go, I mean, interesting build from Zest to go one base on King Sadom Station. Getting that natural is quite easy to get. And, you were talking about it. Against players that he feels favored against, he always likes to go for proxies, for aggressive builds. But Neeb, I'm sure he's done his homework, and he scouted something that just tipped him off. He's like, okay, I know he's going for this aggressive build, let me scout it. And then he prepared very well after that.
To be #1 GM, you have to play countless ladder games, okay? It's a bit of a grind to have more points than everybody else. And when you play that many ladder games, you see proxies like this coming a mile away. Neeb has the huge grin on his face here.